And in this part, I want to select these parts, as you can see, by this way, and then I want to create a parameter for the material part, m dash body, okay, like this way. However, I can select the top part. After this, I want to open the front view, and I want to model the drawer here. By this way, I add the dimension line, and then I create a new parameter. For example, let me see, I name it top underscore height, like this way. Top height, and what else? Okay. Then I want to consider the height for it. Let me see, 6 and 3.4 inches, near 17 centimeters, as you can see. Okay. And then I want to use reference line or plane. We draw it by this way, 20. Well done. And a dimension I added. I lock it. Exactly. I name it mid. MID. I open the plan view. Then I pick the extrusion, setting the work plane I made. Rectangle. From the corner to other corner, finish, opening front view, and then I adjust this and then lock it. Okay, here is the result by this way. Well done. Afterwards, I get back to the front view. Here, as you can see, we got this at the center. Here I draw these at the center. Then I equalize these, and for the thickness 20. Then I pick extrusion again. Watch this. These two, I draw an extrusion. Finish to save the changes and lock. Check it out. And then I join these items. Control S to save the file up to now. Afterwards, I select these to assign them to the material of this. Control S, save. Afterwards, I want to model the doors for these parts. And as I want to show the door opening and closing, I wanna model the doors or the cap in a separate template file. But before that, let me cut these parts. Void cut. Watch this. Like this way. And also the center. I cut them. However, I can move it upwards. We don't need to separate the bottom part like this. I adjust it. Great. Control S to save it. Then we can open the plan view and watch this line. We want to let me draw two more reference planes. 20 for the thicknesses, like this way. Now we need these lines for setting the lines of the door to these. And as mentioned before, I want to model the door of the cabinet in a separate template file so we'll be able to control it better. Firstly, let us check out the dimensions for the height. Let's see. Um, Let me check it out. Dimension, I measure the distance. 58 in the other 43.7. Oh, so I brush this aside and then I open a new family template file generic model by this way, and then reference line, we talked about it before, we select it and then we start drawing from the origin point or from the intersection. Then I pick a line, watch this, I hold down the marker of the mouse there, then I press down tab, then I click when the point appears to lock the line with the two reference planes. And also here we got the dimension line, new parameter, okay, and then for the W 550, okay, let me see what is the problem. We delete it. 550, align, again we try to constrain the tip of the line to the reference planes. Watch this. Then we measure the distance and then we create a parameter. Let me try again. Reference like this way. So select it and then we constrain it like this. Associated to W, constraint are not satisfied. Let's see what's wrong. I associate the angle parameter and then I name it angle like this way. Then let me test the angle for the 5 degrees. It is okay. So there must be a problem with the length. Anyway, we reject it and associate it to W. 600, apply and OK. Then I want to open the 3D view, setting the scale to 1 to 5 and then selecting extrusion, rectangle, pick by face, holding mouse, pressing tab, then click when it appear. After drawing the rectangle, we align it by this way. Now we check lock to constrain all of them automatically, and then angular dimension, align dimension. Watch this, we associate this to a new parameter, we name it edge, panel, height of the panel. Here is the result. Then for the extrusion and or thickness 20. Very well. What else? Let me test it. Let's save the file. ir-m cabinet panel. Then let us test it. Load it into the family of the cabinet. Place it there. I click to add it. Watch this. Then I I isolate them. Then I start aligning these, and then I lock them by this way. Well done. Very well. 30 for the angle. 45. 0. 90. Note that I have reversed the orientation actually. And this is the result. Okay. I press down a space. Previously it was like this. Then we get back to this environment. Then using the controllers, we add them. Watch this. Then let's see if they solve our problem or not. Watch this. We can use these controllers for changing the rotation. Apply 30 degrees. Well done. We can use the controllers here. So up to this point, at the center, we're gonna add a glass or whatever you want. Here we can use void extrusion. I'll tell you why. However, we could have used this sketch. So I use the void extrusion. I dimension them like this way. I place these dimensions. Then I want to set 50 for the offset. By default, fixed. Very well, and then I lock them since they are going to be fixed. Finish. Then for the depth, we adjust it based on the panel. Then we select the void. Here I uncheck cut with geometry, but if I select it, it will be cut. At such a condition, I want to associate it to a parameter. For example, I name it is glass. Is glass by this way. Great. And then I click on OK by this way. Now we can control to show the glass or not. In the continuation, I can draw the glass as well. Watch this. By pick line, finish. Then I the top view. We adjust the thickness -5 and -10. -10 and 10. 0, -10. -10 and -15. Better than before. Then I associate it to a new parameter, m-glass. Okay and okay. Afterwards, visible is glass. Whenever I uncheck is glass, then there won't be a void and glass. So we can check is glass to void and then add the glass. Well done. Then for the material, m-panel, like this way. I save the file up to now. Then for the angle, let's check if the voids move or not. Done. Save, load, and close into the open project. We override it. This is the result. Then I open the front view. In fact, we should place it at the top. Let's see. Opening the plan view, selecting the door, edit. We got nothing here. Let me open its family template file. I set work plane base, then I reload it and overriding the existing version and the dimensions. And this time here, as you can see, we got edit work plane. I select it, then I set this to bottom. So now with this, we have placed it at the top, and we wanted this, as you can see. Then for the dimensions, we want to control them in the next lesson.